I was feeling pretty smug. Yeah, there I was. Not even 30 years old. I had been picked to go to this leadership laboratory with 11 other people by Westinghouse Electric. And there we were in the plush setting of the Seven Springs Mountain Resort in the Allegheny Mountains. And it was kind of funny the way I got there, because the first couple of years I worked at Westinghouse, I was really struggling. And they'd given me this problem to solve, and it had been around for years, long before I'd gotten there. And I guess they thought I solved it. And what was kind of interesting was the very irate and noxious customer that we worked with actually sent a note to our general manager appreciating how I solved it and thanking him. And the general manager said, "Boy, I've worked here 35 years. We have never gotten a thank you from this guy who did this work." And suddenly, because of that one job, they thought Paul Armstrong maybe had some potential and go off to leadership school. So there I was. Now, they were doing the Myers-Briggs type indicator. At the time, I didn't know anything about it. And so the way they ran it, they didn't tell us how the assessment turned out. They would just do all these exercises to help us appreciate the various scales in the Myers-Briggs. And I'd been picked as one of the two more than I should have been out of a group of 12 people. And this one day I was picked for an exercise where they asked myself and a guy named George to describe the lobby. So George is describing the lobby. And George is an engineer, and as am I, interestingly enough. And he's describing the lobby, and he's like, okay, well, the front doors are 8 feet wide, and then you go through a 4-foot portico, and then you go through another set of 8-foot doors, and there's a magazine on the rack, and it's got 12 rows on it, and there's this number of magazines, and the reception desk is this long and this wide, and the lobby's this big. And the whole time he's talking, I'm like, kill me now, ha, ha. You know, I was like, oh, just, really? That's your description of the lobby? Sounds like a drawing. So they said, hey, Paul, describe the lobby. So I described that the lobby was, set the tone, that it, you know, you knew you were in a mountain resort, and it had this alpine theme, and you knew why, you know, and what you might want to do there. And this was a place where you went and you got more information and knew what to do, and it acted like a hub, and you could get to the restaurants and get to the music and get to the ballrooms and get to the, I was pretty proud of my description. And the facilitator at the end, you know, pointed out, oh, do you notice that George, when he was done, you know, you knew exactly the size and the shape of the lobby, and when Paul was done, you knew why there was a lobby. And I'm thinking, yeah, of course, my description is, wait, you know why there's a lobby. So we break and we go to lunch, and lunch is at this big salad bar. And in the middle of the bar is a smoke hood. So you can only see the middle section of people, okay? You can only see the middle section. And the guy on the other side is talking. Now, I know who it is because it's actually the same guy who drove me to Seven Springs. I was meeting my wife at the end of the week. And he's getting his salad, I'm getting my radishes, and I hear him talking to the person in front, and he says, did you hear Paul's description of the lobby? And I'm immediately thinking, yeah, my description of the lobby. And he said, I wanted to kill him. I almost knocked the radishes off my plate. I was so shocked. And then he goes on, he says, it was so frustrating. He says, when he was all done, I had no idea what he was talking about. And I still don't know what the lobby would look like based on what he said. It's sad to say that at 29 years old, that was my first. That was the first time that I had been rocked into a place of humility where I was now humble enough to learn something so valuable, I treasure it to this day. I was rocked to the place where I suddenly realized my way is not the center of the universe. I was rocked to the place to realize my way isn't special. It's just the way I do it. And it stands in concert and in consistency with the way other people do it, and in contrast with them. No better, no worse. It rocked my world so that I realized suddenly that this gift that I had was just my gift, and that I suddenly was now open to appreciating these gifts that before were making me basically say the same thing. Kill me now, you know, oh, be done with it. And now I realize, wow, those folks that in meetings I found the most annoying and the hardest to listen to were actually the most valuable people in the room to me. This was the first time I understood that I needed them. They painted the part of the world I wasn't looking at. And now suddenly I realize that it's just as valuable the people who say what is as the people who say what could be. It's just as valuable the people who say How is to say for what purpose. It's just as valuable for the people who look at the trees as look at the forest. And it rocked my world. And you know, it's interesting because to this day, I'm now qualified and I teach Myers-Briggs. And so every time I do that and work with a group, I'm hoping that they'll have a similar first like me and it'll rock their world. Thank you.